For most guys, Alex, he is the biggest and strongest point guard in the league at 6'6", 215 pounds. His length alone gives him the advantage in the paint to score over smaller guys. And then that 215 pounds of muscle, he could get in there and bang with the big guys as well. He is a matchup nightmare. The Broncos need to really focus in on him and keep him out of the paint, which is a whole lot easier said than it is done.
All right, Coach. On the other side for Boise State, since they left Reno, they've won 4 consecutive games, and their offense is playing about as good as they have all year. They've got 4 players that are coming into this game averaging double figures, including Chibuzo Ogbo, the transfer from Texas Tech, and boy, has he been a big get for Leon Rice.
Well, Ogbo has been hotter in the Texas parking lot since they started league play, averaging over 15 points, shooting 58% from the three-point line, and he comes at you with some size as well, 6'7", 227. He is also one of their best on-the-ball defenders, off-the-ball defenders, and there's a whole bunch of good defenders on this Boise State team.
All right, we are going to have some fun here tonight in Boise. They're expecting a near sellout crowd. It is a whiteout, and this is going to be a great Mountain West Conference showdown. The Wolfpack and the Broncos starting lineups and tip-off coming up next here on Nevada Sports Net.
Test.
Gas on Nevada Sports Net is brought to you by your Northern Nevada Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by ITS Logistics, moving the Wolfpack across the country since 2002.
Ahead of this game, Boise State's Najee Smith said this is a personal one, especially because we lost to the Broncos earlier on in the season. He said we're hungry and we're ready to get in front of our home crowd and show them that we are the team. As for the Nevada Wolfpack, head coach Steve Alford told his group at Shoot-Around, this is a great opportunity for you to come in here on the road into a great environment and play some great basketball. He said we know that they're going to want to come out and beat us tonight, but we've just got to come out and do what we do. Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Bridget. Bridget Howard for the Mountain West Network. Take a look at the starting lineups presented by Champion Chevrolet. Trucks as tough as the pack. And for the Wolfpack, Lucas, Williams, Blackshear, Coleman, and Baker. And for the Boise State Broncos, they're going to have Shaver, Degenhart, Abo, Rice, and Smith. All right, Coach, here we go.
Well, I told you, Alex, I think as competitive as this is going to be, I think it's going to start off slow, and I think it could be a low-scoring game. Both these teams very defensive-minded.
Jared Lucas on the catch and shoot, and an early conversion for the Wolfpack.
Well, I told you to get off to a slow start. One pass, one shot by the 4th leading scorer in the league. Jared Lucas could really make it go in.
Well, 2 of the top defenses in the Mountain West going head-to-head here this evening. And an early offensive foul against Marcus Shaver Jr.
I think that was on the screen there, maybe with Smith. I'm not sure who they gave that foul to. I think that did go against Naj Smith on that ball screen. So one basket on the Wolfpack's first possession. No, we haven't quite decided what we're going to do there on the second play of the game. Was that a foul, or we're going to have a do-over here? Or in golf, they call that a mulligan. David Hall was giving me some hand signals there. I'm still not exactly sure, but it's a Broncos ball, so we'll play on.
All right, so Boise State on offense. Broncos coming off a win in Wyoming. Again, they won 4 straight. The steal from Blackshear inside to the low post. Baker working against Degenhart, and he falls down, loses the ball. In transition, the Broncos have it knocked away. And they'll say they'll keep possession here. Oppo losing the handles that time, but you can see both of these teams defending at a high level early, and that's what we expect in this game.
Well, I was a little surprised there. Will Barker got his feet all tangled up there, and he's coming off a career game himself with 24 points. Not a great possession for him, and nice decision by Shaver, one of the best point guards in the league.
Double team on the inside, trying to get it outside for Abbo. Blackshear there tightly to meet him. Now Max Rice driving inside. He's got Lucas all over him. 10 seconds to shoot. And a triple for Max Rice.
Max Rice, who leads them in three-point shooting. Boy, he's got great lift on his shot, too. Third leading scorer on this team, a fifth-year senior. He's having a great year for his dad and the Broncos.
Good start for Rice, who only scored 2 points in the matchup in Reno. He was 0 for 2 from the field in that one. That was a big difference maker for the Wolfpack. Blackshear with a 3. Offensive rebounds pulled in by Trey Coleman.
And that's what Coleman does best. Rebound, defend. He's the guy that's on Albo down at the other end. He's kind of a dirty work kid from Jeffersonville, Indiana, down my neck of the woods in southern Indiana.
Love those Indiana boys, don't you?
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of fun at the Nevada shoot-around with Noodles Neal and Coach Alford and all of us Indiana guys, so to speak.
Here's Abbo on the drive. Can't finish, and an offensive foul going against the Broncos again.
I tell you, that Albo is going to have some trouble. He's been on a real roll, averaging 15 in this 5 conference games, shooting 58% from 3. But Darian Williams and Trey Coleman, the 2 Wolfpack forwards, are both very, very good defenders and very physical defenders.
Back inside Baker, and he's fouled quickly. And so Will Baker will go to the free throw line. This is something Nevada really wants to be able to do in this basketball game, Coach, is shoot free throws. They have been one of the best in the nation at not only getting to the line, but converting at the line. And for a big man, Will Baker has been tremendous at the stripe.
Well, Will Baker is just a good shooter in general. He leads them in free throw percentage and field goal percentage. And Nevada is 6th in the country in made free throws. That was a call from the bench where they set a little small to big cross screen to go right inside to Will Baker. Will Baker, again, coming off a game where he tied his career high, set his season high, 24 points in their big bounce-back win against Utah State after going down to San Diego State and getting beat.
Look at head coach Leon Rice in his 13th season here in Boise. Broncos coming in 20th in the net rankings, higher than they ever were even last year during that stretch where they made it and won the Mountain West Conference, both in the regular season and in the tournament. And this year, after a little bit of a slow start, they have come on strong and shown to be one of the top teams in the conference. Again, right now, the top-ranked team in the Mountain West if you look at those net rankings.
Oh, I don't know about that, but Mike Reed right there on top of it. I was just getting ready to talk about what a great defender Max Rice is. They've given him the responsibility to at least start off on Jared Lucas, the league's 4th leading scorer, who's at the free throw line right now. But as much as everyone in college basketball switches anymore, Alex, the old days of saying you got him, he's your the whole game is kind of gone by the wayside because everyone switches. Ball screens and a lot of screens away from the ball. But Max Rice is one of the best defenders on this Bronco team, maybe the best one.
Yeah, so Rice called for the flop. Lucas gets the free throw. The Wolfpack miss after that, though. They lead by 1 here in the opening couple of minutes. Knocked away by Darian Williams, and a quick foul on Lucas. Nevada with their second steal here early. And so Marcus Shaver Jr. is whistled there. How about the freshman Darian Williams? He's been one of the best in the Mountain West when it comes to steals. 31 steals for a true freshman. That's sensational.
Well, this has been a little bit ragged here in the first 3.5 minutes, and it's interesting. Both these teams are coming off games where they had but 7 turnovers for both of them in a game, and already they've kind of thrown it around the gym a little bit to start off with.
Well, if you're the Wolfpack, this is exactly what you could hope for, to be racking up this many fouls. Again, a big part of Nevada's offense is their ability to get to the free throw line. And Boise State has already committed 4 fouls, and we have not even gotten to the first media timeout.
Well, and Boise State now playing out of necessity a bigger lineup. Milner in for Smith because Smith has a couple fouls. This is a lineup they started the season with before Smith then was inserted to the lineup for Milner. But Milner is a really good player. They're not going to suffer too much with this bigger lineup.
Wolfpack able to keep the rebound. Here's Blackshear quickly in transition. Blackshear to the rack, and it goes off the rim.
Max Rice missing that 15-footer to the other end is probably the easiest shot he's had tonight.
Degenart working inside, double teamed by the Wolfpack. Trapped by Williams and Baker. Rice unloading from 3, and Max Rice hits the triple.
He has such range on his shot because he really uses his lower body. He really gets his hips and his legs into it, and that was a long three-point shot there by Max Rice.
Max Rice has scored all 8 points here early for Boise State. Here's Williams, and the freshman just off the mark for Nevada. So how about Rice, again, who did not score or really score much, just the 2 points in Reno back on December 28th.
He was 0-4 in that game, Alex, and didn't score much. He, as usual, played a good defensive game, but they really need for him to have a big offensive game here tonight, which he's got off to a pretty good start, 8 straight points.
From the corner, Oppo. His triple comes up a bit short. Broncos leading 8-6 here early. Second and final regular season matchup between these two longtime rivals. First met all the way back in 1977. How about that from Will Baker?
Will Baker started the game the other night against Utah State with a deep 3, and I mentioned he had a season-high 24 points, and he had a terrific inside-out game. In that game, 10 for 14, but 3 for 6 from the three-point line. He can score in the paint, kind of an old-school post guy, and he can really shoot it in for a guy his size.
Second season for Baker after transferring in from Texas. And that will take us to our first media timeout. Some early fireworks here in Boise. A tie game, 8-8. More to come here on Nevada Sports Net right after this. All right, alongside Coach Joe Cravens, Alex Margulies here from the capital of Idaho, the Gem State, and a beautiful night for some Mountain West Conference basketball. Head coach Leon Rice and the Broncos coming off of their championship season a year ago, and when you talk to Coach Alford on the other side, he made it very clear. These are still the champions, and until they're dethroned, you got to go through the champs. And for him, he really wanted to see his team come on the road and perform well in a hostile environment, especially after a couple of weeks ago where they were pretty shaky early on against San Diego State.
Well, they didn't show up early against San Diego State, and then it was too late. But you can't take any nights off this year in the Mountain West Conference. From top to bottom, it is as good as what I've seen it for several years. Leon Rice and his team winning the outright championship and the conference championship. It's only been done 3 times. Coleman in transition, not noted as a three-point shooter, had a really rough game against Utah State. No points, 4 rebounds. But he jumped up and shot that one in like he expected it to.
Had Coleman not much of a scoring threat in his last 3 games. Only 1 point combined in those 3 contests. But he hits Nevada's first triple after they had started 0 for 4 as a team. So the Wolfpack take a 3-point advantage. trying to steal it away, and they will go to a jump ball there as Coleman and Williams trying to take it away from Degenhart.
Really an alert play by Trey Coleman. As I said, he's more noted as a defender than a shooter, but boy, he catches this right in rhythm and jumps up and knocks it in. The last time they played on December 28th, he had an impact on that game, 7 points, 7 rebounds. The 7 rebounds led the team. Against Utah State, their last game, he and Williams didn't have a great game, but neither one of them had a turnover, which is huge for a set of forwards playing as many minutes as they did. You know, when I see him throw it back to Blackshear's size, I keep thinking they're throwing it back to the trailing big. I keep forgetting at 6'6", 215, he is the point guard.
10 seconds to shoot here for the Wolfpack. Coleman again. Finds Blackshear. Blackshear inside, and he left it a little short.
How about that? After coming off a 28-point game, having one point blank there. Jared Lucas, the 4th leading scorer in the league, and the leading scorer here for the Wolfpack with just 1 basket so far.
And Blackshear 0 for 3 from the field to start this game. And that was after he had that tremendous night, 7 for 12 against Utah State. And here's Marcus Shaver Jr. giving some help to Max Rice, who had scored all 8 points for the Broncos. He gets on the board, and we are tied at 11.
Shaver is one of the best point guards in the league, the 10th scorer in the league, but also the 7th leading rebounder for a 6'2" guard in the Mountain West Conference this year.
Tight defense on Blackshear. Here's Coleman driving inside, and Trey Coleman goes to the basket.
Trey Coleman, who only averages 5.8, is really being pretty assertive here on offense early in the game.
Coleman, the junior, as you mentioned, from Southern Indiana, Jeffersonville. Coach Alford really glows when you talk about Trey Coleman being from his home state.
I talked to him a little bit. Coleman, I was speaking of before the game, just a delightful kid, very polite. Yes, sir, no, sir.
Najee Smith from the corner.
Naj Smith had his career high in their game in Nevada with 20 points, 5 rebounds. Naj Smith, an interesting study. Never started a game last year, played in all of them except one. Didn't start the first 3 games this year, and all of a sudden, he's a kind of a star role player for this Bronco team now.
Boise State, who came into this game red hot offensively, they have hit 4 of 5 from the outside to start this game. Another wide open look. That time a little bit long for Smith.
Great extra pass there by Whiting, the freshman. Smith, his first 3, had a guy hanging on him. That one, he was wide open.
Illegal screen goes against Darian Williams, and the Wolfpack will turn it over here at 10:42. That'll take us to our second media timeout. The Broncos sharp shooting from the outside, a 14-13 lead. Back with more from Boise right after this. All right, what a start for the Mountain West Conference, Coach. 5 different teams right now in the net rankings in the top 40, led by this Boise State program, 20th right now in the net. Nevada at 28. This is the biggest metric now when it comes to the NCAA tournament, the committees. And so I know we're early to be talking about net rankings, but this is a huge sign for the Mountain West Conference, who got 4 teams into the NCAA tournament last year. This is looking like, at minimum, a 3-bid league, maybe even 4, again here this season.
Well, Boise State's 20th net ranking is the highest in their school history. What a great called play from the bench coming out of that timeout. This little back cut by Rice. This, again, was a play they worked on at shoot-around today. A little misdirection action there where it looks like they're taking the ball one way. Max Rice strings out his defender and then back cuts it. Max Rice leads this team in free throw shooting, and he is having just a whale of a game, an unbelievable stat. When he scores in double figures, the Broncos are 24-1 in his career. And at Nevada, he had but 2 points, went 0 for 4. So that's good news for the coaching staff and the Bronco fans.
You talk to Leon Rice, he feels like he maybe almost kind of cheated his son earlier in his career, not playing him as many minutes and maybe taking him out of games when he didn't need to. And people around town were even saying, hey, look, play 12 more. Like, this guy needs to get into the game.
He was very cognizant of that. Leon was, Coach Rice I'm talking about. But Nick Davidson on that last basket in for the Wolfpack, the outstanding freshman from Mater Dei High School, Mission Viejo. He's their 4th leading scorer. He's a redshirt freshman, so he's a little bit older, but he actually led them in scoring at 17 in their loss to San Diego State. He's having a outstanding freshman year.
Yeah, 17 points against San Diego State, had 15 on the road against San Jose State. Inside of Degenhardt, his shot is rejected by Davidson. How about the block from the freshman?
That was a pretty nice block because he just stayed on his feet and stayed between Degenhardt and the basket. No flop, no, but it went off of Coleman's foot going the other way. Both teams, that was the Wolfpack's 3rd turnover. As I said, coming into this game or after their last game, they both had but just 7 turnovers in their previous game, which is just outstanding anytime you're under 10.
Smith trying to get inside on Davidson. Gets around to Davidson. What a move there from Najee Smith.
That was really a move because Davidson was on him like freckles on a redhead on that move there. And Davidson, Smith just kind of went up and under that extended arm.
Smith was a huge problem against the Wolfpack in Reno. He scored 20 points, which was a career high. How about Davidson, the rebound and the putback?
Well, Davidson got matched up against Marcus Shaver there. And of course, it was a size disadvantage. Shaver was doing his best to screen him off and could not get him off the glass. Again, Davidson, the outstanding freshman whose dad played basketball at Nevada and his mother played volleyball there. So a pretty good bloodline for the young freshman.
Davidson can't complete the 3-point play. Broncos basketball up by 1, 9 to go here in the first half. Both teams shooting an even 46% here in this opening half. Rice, a little bit too long on that one. And Wolfpack did well trying to keep the offensive rebound, but actually they're going to whistle Keenan Blackshear as he was trying to prevent Chibuzo Ogbo from getting his hand in there.
Blackshear on that screen out. Both teams doing a pretty good job of getting into each other's bodies on the screen out. Maybe that was just a little bit too much as the Broncos keep it down to this end. That was a deep 3 by Max Rice there, who's had the hot hand, but that was maybe a little bit too deep. Ogbo trying to get his offensive game going and does just that at his size. That was a nice pull-up. He's been shooting it awful good for 3, but he can score in other ways as well. The Texas Tech transfer, 2 years at Texas Tech before he came here with the Broncos, and boy, he was a good pickup for Boise State.
Blackshear is still having a hard time finding his shot. He's 0 for 4 from the field. Rice hits another.
Transition defense, they have got to get to the ball quicker and get their pickup point out a little bit more. Max Rice causes matchup problems because he's not a point guard. He just got that off the glass and brought it like a point guard. Crowd really getting into it now. Boy, they can really get loud in this arena.
Coleman off the mark.
Davidson all over the offensive glass.
How about Daniel Foster hitting the 3?
Foster started the first 3 games before Coach Alford kind of adjusted his lineup, but the best time to shoot a 3, as most coaches tell you, after an offensive rebound where the defense isn't matched up.
Nick Davidson, a couple offensive boards. The Aussie Daniel Foster, who had not scored in his last 2 games, hitting a big triple to get Nevada back within 3.
Nevada's kind of settling in on offense here and has taken a 3-point lead. Trey Pettigrew, the freshman from Chicago, that the coaching staff is really high on into the game now.
How about Davidson again inside?
How about that pass by Coleman? Coleman has had a huge impact on the game for a kid who didn't score a point. He did have 4 rebounds, and I said he and Williams, neither one had a turnover against Utah State.
Max Rice from way downtown.
Rice is just hotter than a cheap pistol right now and enjoying every second of it. The 5th-year senior from right here in town, son of Coach Leon Rice, who refers to him simply as number 12.
4 for 5 from the outside is Rice, who has been unbelievable here in the first 14 minutes.
Boy, to say he's had a hot hand is probably an understatement.
Bucket plus the foul for Smith. Six minutes to play here in the first half, and the Broncos are chugging up by 8. Broncos hitting it from the outside, led by Max Rice. The son of the coach, 16 points here in the first half. Our keys to the game tonight brought to you by Bradley Drendel and Janae. And Coach, for the Wolfpack, do you feel like the glass is going to be a big difference maker in this one?
Well, looking at both teams' statistics, the one thing that jumped out at me is Boise State is a much better rebounding team than Nevada is on paper. So I thought it was very important for Nevada to come in here and rebound with the Broncos, which they have. It's 10-10 right now. Boise State, after Blackshear's coming off that career game of 28, I thought they needed to do everything they could to keep him out of the paint, and they have done just that. Keenan Blackshear 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, no points and no assists. So he has kind of been non-existent in this game after dominating Utah State in their last game at home.
On the other side for Max Rice, he has been unbelievable. 16 points on 5 of 7 shooting, including 4 made triples. It's the 3rd time this year he's hit at least 4 in a game, but he's done that in the first 15 minutes.
Well, he's got 2 20-point games this year. His season high 25 in their win over Texas A&M, a marquee win. But like I say, he's hotter than a Texas parking lot here in the first half.
Blackshear from the outside. There's Keenan.
First basket for Blackshear.
So Keenan Blackshear on the scoreboard. Nevada down by 4. Wolfpack are shooting almost 50% in this game.
Both these teams are very good defensively, Alex. I knew there would be no easy baskets, although this kid, everything is easy for him right now. 18 points, only 4 points away from his season high. We still got 5 minutes left in the first half. And how about that kid? Boy, he can shoot them with people hanging all over him. Max Rice on him like ugly on an 8th, then him kind of returning the favor for Max Rice.
I know you were watching Jared Lucas in warm-ups this morning, and you really like the way that he shoots.
Wow, he really does. He's got a really pretty shot. Besides being a shooter, he's a scorer. He figures out. He and Blackshear have both already shot over 100 free throws this year, and all big-time scorers figure out how to get to the free throw line. And Jared Lucas didn't have a great game in their last game, but he had 21 points, one of 3 guys that was over 20. Here's Blackshear on his first score of the game. We talked about keeping him out of the paint, and so he just shot one in. A great step back then by Jared Lucas, the league's 4th leading scorer. Speaking of Lucas being a scorer, he scored 3,356 points in his high school career. That's more than some teams will score. I mean, this kid just has a knack for scoring, and he's done it at all levels. 2nd leading scorer for Oregon State a couple years ago when they made their run to the Elite 8. So, again, he's done it at every level he's played.
Yeah, and he actually is still the record holder in that CIF Southern section down in Los Angeles. That is no small feat. 2nd all-time leading scorer in California state history. That's the kind of high school accolades Jared Lucas had.
he does a good job of moving without the ball. He's not just a guy that has to have the ball in his hand to score. He kind of understands how to get himself open and, like I say, move without the ball.
Offensive rebound from Darian Williams. Blackshear out of control, and he's whistled for an offensive foul as he knocks over Dagenhart.
Well, how about that? Dagenhart on their point guard. Dagenhart 6'7", 242 with great lateral movement there. That was Nevada's 4th offensive rebound, which I think will play very big with their athleticism. They can really get well. Some teams, and I'm not saying this about them, I've seen some teams, their best offense is to miss a shot and then go rebound it. 4 offensive rebounds, a pretty good start for Nevada on the offensive glass.
Inside to Dagenhart, quickly double teams. He wanted to foul there, doesn't get it. Now the drive from Abo. And another rebound from Darian Williams. He's got 6 here early on. Tyler Powell into the game for the Wolfpack.
Abo 1 for 5 now with only 2 points. Once you get into conference play, Alex, that your opposition, through scouting and so much game preparation, they'll take who's hot and take them out of the game, or at least do everything they can, and they'll take what you do best offensively and take it out of your offensive arsenal. And Luke is starting to heat up now with back-to-back baskets.
Jared Lucas catching fire here towards the end of the half. He's got 8 points now to lead Nevada. They're back within 2.
Boise State now playing with their bigger lineup with Milner and Dagenhart in the game. And I'm telling you what, that kid is in a zone. Holy mackerel.
You think Max Rice wants this one tonight?
Wow. We talked about having such a poor game on December 28th in Nevada. 0 for 4. He's having a career tonight.
Baker, how about that left-handed hook?
Well, Baker can score in a variety of ways, and at 7 foot 250, he's big enough to go bear hunting with a switch, and he gets down that low on a low block catch. You better bring a lunch and a lantern, because it's going to be a long day, because he can score in a variety of ways that close to the basket.
All alone on the drive there is Whiting, and a timeout called by Steve Alford as the Broncos surge ahead by 5.
What a nice move by Whiting there. Leaned to his left, got his defender leaning, and this took him off the dribble to the basket. Chase Whiting started 4 games early in the year. Rice from half court, and then Whiting, and right now the Broncos are hot.
Alongside the former head coach, Joe Cravens, I'm Alex Margulies. Coach, I got to throw you under the bus a little bit. You were calling for a defensive game.
I was waiting for that to come. I knew that was coming.
Boise State hitting 57% of their shots. Nevada's hitting 52%. So both of these teams are operating at a high level. The difference maker is Max Rice, who is having a career night in the first half alone. He's got 21 points. He's made 5 of 6 shots from the outside. I mean, what a storyline for the Boise kid. And went to high school here, playing for his dad here at Boise State in his final season. Talk about just a sensational effort.
He's played through a lot of pain, too. He's got a back issue going on right now. He has trouble putting his shoes on. But I'm telling you what, Max Rice is nothing if he's not tougher than a pine knot, boy. You have to contend with him.
Wolfpack trailing by 5. They were down by as many as 7 here in this first half. Will Baker from the baseline. Man, he is on tonight. Will Baker with 7 for Nevada, and he is scoring in a variety of ways.
Well, coming off that 24-point game against Utah State, Lucas Milner did all he could there. Got a contested hand up, got into him a little bit, but Will Baker is really talented at the offensive end. And again, he's not a little guy, 7 foot, 250 pounds. I see what Milner can do here in the low block.
Only 8 to shoot here for the Broncos. Milner backing up against Will Baker. And Milner holding up Baker.
Now, Baker, I was just bragging on him at his size. At 250 pounds, he can't let Milner just back him down like that. Of course, Milner is no small kid himself, 6'10", 242. So that's about 500 pounds worth of humanity going at each other there.
Baker wants it again. This time he comes up short on the jumper. He had gone a perfect 3 of 3 from the field before that.
Max Rice's third rebound. He's having a great scoring night, but he's getting on the glass pretty good.
Degenhart with his first bucket.
Degenhart had a little bit of a subpar game last game, 13 points, 2 rebounds. Subpar, I'm saying, because for the previous 2 games against Utah State, UNLV, he had back-to-back double-doubles.
And they're going to whistle Milner there as he was tying up Will Baker.
Tying him up is fairly descriptive. I tell you what, they look like 2 big sumo wrestlers going at it down there. 2 out of 3 falls. As I said, those are 2 big human beings going at it there. Will Baker in their last game, 10 for 14 from the field, but he hit 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. So he's not just a low block player, not just a shooter. He can do a little bit of everything.
Darian Williams, the freshman, connects off the glass.
A little flex cut there by the Wolfpack that the Broncos did not play very good defensively there, and Williams getting a wide open point blank shot.
Leon Rice will call a timeout as the Broncos have a chance to wind this one down to the end of the half. 20 seconds left on the clock, 21 on the shot clock. What an awesome story this is, Joe, when you talk about Max Rice getting to play for his dad, Leon. His younger brother, Cade, is on the team as well. Here's a shot of them growing up with a few children. Mark Few out of Gonzaga. Also, Tommy Jones out there. And talking to Leon Rice, he said that these kids growing up together in Spokane, I mean, what an amazing kind of upbringing for them. And it was a tough deal when they had to move to Boise and kind of remove them from that kind of gang of cousins, I would feel like, for all of them. But to see this story kind of play out, and Max Rice not only to play for Boise State now and be a contributing member, he has been in many ways the heartbeat of this team here as a senior.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. I talked about how tough he is. He can barely get his shoes on right now. He's got a bulging disc in his back. He's had to have hip surgery a couple years ago when he redshirted, but he sets the example of how hard and how smart you got to play to be a Bronco.
All right, final 12 seconds here of the first half. The Broncos by 5. They'll get it to Degenhart. Being guarded by Davidson. Davidson trying to reach his hand in there. Got the ball, but he also got too much of Degenhart. And that will stop it at 3.4. And the Broncos in the double bonus. That will send Degenhart for a couple of free throws. And so an easy way for the Broncos to tack on a couple extra points.
Well, the Nevada defender was in pretty good shape there. Did he not get anxious and start reaching for the ball? I used to tell guys, you know, they don't get any points for just getting the ball into the lane. You don't have to reach out there and foul and make them score over you. Degenhart, such a smart player, though, with such a great feel for the game. Last year's Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year, honorable mention All-League last year. He is going to have a long and prosperous career here for the Broncos.
Degenhart misses the second. Nevada the rebound. Powell called for a walk there with .2. So Tyler Powell was trying to get off a buzzer beater, and he is whistled on a travel, and that is going to give the Broncos a chance to add another tally here before the end of the half.
I think you have to have .3 on the clock to get a legit shot off. So all you're going to see is an inbound to a touch of the ball here before we go off to the dressing room. And we've stopped that play as well. I think this is a shot clock thing here. Well, this half ended kind of like it started, with no one kind of knowing exactly what was going on here. But at any rate, the Broncos are up 42-36 and going into the locker room with a bunch of momentum right now.
We've got Bridget Howard ready on the floor with head coach Steve Alford, and it looks like coach actually heading into the locker room. So with that, we're going to go to halftime here in Boise. It's the Broncos leading by 6 in this Mountain West showdown on Nevada Sports Net. Welcome back to ExtraMile Arena, Boise, Idaho. Mountain West showdown, the Wolfpack and the Broncos, and Boise State's on top by 6. And welcome here to courtside, Coach Joe Cravens, Alex Margulies. And, you know, for Nevada, they have to feel pretty good about what they did offensively. But Max Rice on the other side having almost an unimaginable first half, Coach. We're talking 21 points. He's hit 5 threes already in this game. How is this happening?
It's having an out-of-body experience almost. 5 of 6 from the three-point line, 7 of 9 overall. He also has 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and no turnovers to go along with that. But he started the game off drifting out, and he has such great lower body and lift on his jump shot. And if you drop your hands, he can get you to the lane, scored over you. Remember, Max Rice is no small kid at 6'5", 200 pounds, and he is just lighting the Nevada Wolfpack up. It looks like he almost fumbles it, and then he jumps up and shoots it in. And again, look at this great lower body, the way he gets his hips and his legs into it, and he is just having a field day here in the first half.
All right, so we'll take a look at the numbers of this one when we come back. The Wolfpack and the Broncos. Boise State trying to even up this series after a narrow loss in Reno. We'll have more coming up from ExtraMile Arena in Boise, Idaho, right after this. Beautiful night here in Boise. Look at downtown, just a couple minutes away from campus. And right now, 42-36 Broncos as we take a look inside the numbers presented by Huntley Motor World, a trailer for every need. Again, Nevada offensively has to be really happy with the way that they played. 54% from the field. They have actually out-rebounded the Broncos, but they have not been able to slow down Max Rice. And as a result, Boise State just an edge ahead, 60% from the field, including that all-important 7 of 11 from the outside.
Well, Alex, let me remind you, these are the 2 top defensive field goal percentage teams in the league. Boise State only giving up 39%, Nevada 40%, and it looks like neither one of them have guarded anyone, shooting 60 and 53%. I tell you what, this is going to be an interesting second half in my mind. Come on back, folks.
All right, more to come. Should be a good finish between these two longtime rivals, Nevada and Boise State. Second half coming up next. Glad you have you aboard tonight from Boise, whether you're watching on Nevada Sports Nets or on the CW Boise or on the Mountain West Network. A 42-36 score here at halftime as we welcome you back inside ExtraMile Arena alongside former head coach Joe Cravens. I'm Alex Margulies. Let's start first talking about the Wolfpack. What did they need to do to come back and win this game? And the obvious is slowing down Max Rice. Outside of that, how do they come back in this game?
Well, I think they've been playing pretty well. They have 5 turnovers, which is very acceptable. They're out rebounding Boise State 13-11 in the game at Nevada. Nevada was out rebounded by 10 rebounds by the Broncos. They have 4 offensive rebounds. It's just all about Max Rice. They have got to find him, locate him earlier, maybe pick him up full court. When they're on him, a couple times their defender has dropped their hand. You got to keep a hand over his ball as he has in his hands to disrupt his rhythm a little bit, because he has just put on a show in this first half. 5 or 6 from the three-point line, 21 points.
All right, the Wolfpack will take possession here to start the second half, and Keenan Blackshear, who hit only 1 bucket in the first half, gets going quickly. And that's a good sign for Nevada. Blackshear coming off of that career performance against Utah State where he scored 28 points. He scored 17 of those 28 in the second half against the Aggies.
Well, these two great point guards, Shaver and Blackshear, only had one basket apiece in that first half. And there is old, reliable Tyson Degenhart. You get him the ball in the paint, and you might as well just turn around and run the other way. He is so efficient around the basket.
Blackshear trying to get into Baker and can't hold on to his pass. Here comes Marcus Shaver the other way.
He hit Baker in a bad place, as the old saying goes, right in the hands.
Najee Smith, who had 20 the first time in Reno, he had 8 in the first half. Had it poked away by Williams. Back to the basket against Darian Williams, the freshman. Smith goes around him, then gets his own rebounds. Finds Tyson Degenhart, and just off the mark is Degenhart. And it was last touched by Rice as Lucas was trying to corral that for Nevada, and slow to get up is Keenan Blackshear.
Darian Williams did a really nice job defensively on Smith there, and then once the shot went up, kind of relaxed. Smith very quick on his second jump off his feet and secured that offensive rebound. Darian Williams is an outstanding freshman for the Wolfpack. Didn't start the first 3 games of the year and has started every game since then. Not only is Max Rice, Alex, had a great first half shooting. You see who he's guarding is the Wolfpack's leading scorer, Jared Lucas. So, again, not just a one-trick pony as Max Rice. He can really guard you as well.
6-point lead for the Broncos. Shaver, who only has 3 points in this game, trying to get around Coleman. Good defense by Trey Coleman, forcing a bad shot.
Big size differential there. Coleman used his size and length. Shaver's just been kind of steady, but nothing really to write home about in his performance so far.
Keenan Blackshear coming out hot here in this second half. He has converted both shots. Nevada back within 4. 44-40. Broncos ahead here in Boise. Second and final meeting between these two teams. Inside to Smith, knocked away, stays with it. Knocked away again, and Baker's there to pick it up.
Outstanding defense by the Wolfpack there with getting help on that roll from Trey Coleman.
Blackshear, another quick bucket.
Well, don't look for the Wolfpack to go away, Alex. Excuse me. There's still a whole bunch of time left, and this is a veteran Nevada team.
Well, let's not forget Nevada in their last game against Utah State went on a 19-0 run in the second half. Degenhart putting out the fire there after Boise State had about a 2-minute drought. So Tyson Degenhart also getting going for the Broncos. He's got 7 on 3 of 5 shooting. The reigning Mountain West freshman of the year.
Well, you said it. Nevada was down 5 points to Utah State in their last game and came out and held Utah State to 28% shooting in the second half.
All right, let's go back to the third member of our team, Bridget Howard from the Mountain West Network.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, talked with Leon Rice at the half, and he said 64% from 3. I like to see when the ball goes in. Defensively, he said we've got to rebound because they out-rebounded us in that first half, and we cannot give them any more second chance opportunities.
All right, thanks so much, Bridget. Glad to have you aboard here tonight, as the Broncos will get to the free throw line at 16:10 left here in the half. Here's Leon Rice. What a career. 258 wins here with Boise State. A longtime assistant at Gonzaga. Before that, we were talking about the story of Max Rice and Joe Few, among others, the son of Mark Few, and those boys all growing up together in Spokane.
Well, last year's Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year, his second time he's been named the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year, and you have the second all-time winningest coach in terms of wins in the Mountain West Conference, and the third being Steve Alford. Remember, he was at New Mexico for 6 years before he went to Nevada, but two guys who have been around a bunch and had a whole bunch of success.
9 points now for Tyson Degenhart as the Broncos go back in front by 6. Just off the mark from Blackshear, who was perfect to start the half.
Rice now with 4 rebounds to go along with that great shooting night he's had, and has yet to turn the ball over.
Double teamed underneath, gets away from Williams and Lucas. And an 8-point lead for the Broncos, their largest of the night.
And a new season high for Max Rice at 1 off from his season high. He had 25 against Texas A&M earlier in the year.
Darian Williams trying to dial up from deep. Baker couldn't get the rebounds. And Shaver taking it the other way for Boise State. Pulls up at the free throw line. Flying in for the offensive rebound, Kobe Young, but the Wolfpack will control it.
Nice job by Young coming in from the perimeter rebound. He just couldn't haul it down.
Great pass from Blackshear to find Baker. He's fouled inside. And Nevada will go to the free throw line when we come back. Max Rice picking up where he left off in the first half. Gets around the double team. Gives the Broncos an 8-point lead here in the second half. All right, back here inside ExtraMile Arena in Boise alongside Coach Joe Cravens, Alex Margulies. And I know you've had a long relationship with both of these head coaches. Leon Rice there for Boise State, and again coming off of that Mountain West Coach of the Year honors last year.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, that was his second one of his career here. 9 20-win seasons in the last 12 games. The all-time career win leader here at Boise State, passing my old buddy and rival Bobby Dye to get there. The second most wins in the Mountain West Conference, both overall and Mountain West Conference games, trailing only the great Steve Fisher, and there he is with a little big head there. But more than anything about these two coaches, and Steve Alford, 650 wins, is they're both just terrific people. You know, at any walk of life, someone has a little success and sometimes it changes them. They are both so down home and just such really good people. Their university should be very, very happy and gratified that they have such class individuals running the program.
Not able to take it away after a drop pass from Boise State. Now Baker wants to step out, hit the three. That one came well short. That's his first attempt from the outside. Baker was able to connect on 3 of 6 in their win against the Aggies on Friday. Part of that 24-point performance.
You see Claiborne at that time, Max Rice brought it across half court, and he had a hand up. Look at him now. I said you got to get a hand up early on Max Rice to try to distort the timing on that shot a little bit, and that is exactly what Claiborne's doing.
Coleman able to block the shot from Rice, but he gets it back and then drills another triple, a career-high 26 points for Max Rice.
You know, down at the Nevada bench, we got a whole bunch of Indiana guys down there. I'm from Indiana, and I'll tell you, Max Rice shoots like he's from Indiana. You know, growing up in Indiana, if you can't shoot by the time you're 12, they make you move to Kentucky. Rice would be a stalwart in Indiana with that jump shot.
Baker, who started this game a perfect 3 of 3, has missed his last 4 shots from the field. Nevada now trails by 9, and Smith with the flush inside.
What a great pass by Degenhart. Man, that was what you call a touch pass, and he put it right in a teacup for Smith.
And the fans come alive here in Boise. The Broncos lead by 11. 57% from the field for Boise State. And how about Najee Smith slamming it home with authority. Points for Boise State, their lead here in the second half. Let's go back to Bridget Howard down on the court.
Yeah, Alex, Tyson Degenhart told me yesterday, he said Max Rice has been so impressive so far this year. Last year was somewhat still battling a hip injury from the COVID year, but this year he's really healthy and just playing with a lot of confidence. Max Rice said at the press conference yesterday, he's really focused on slowing down this year, taking his time, finding the shot he wants. And guys, he's certainly finding the shot he wants tonight. I mean, boy, is he having a night here for the Broncos.
All right, thanks, Bridget. I really felt like Max Rice was going to be the X factor in this game. Just 2 points in that first meeting. He has had just an unimaginable night here in front of the home fans.
Well, he has been on a mission tonight at both ends. He also has 5 rebounds to go along with that big total in points. And look who he's guarding. He's guarding the league's 4th leading scorer in Jared Lucas, the leading scorer for the Wolfpack, and taking a lot of pride in his defense. So it's not just his shooting, although that has been storybook tonight. He's doing a whole lot of other things to help his team.
The coaches really praised Jared Lucas's defense on Rice in that first matchup. But Rice so far getting the upper hand here in the rematch, and now reaching in on Lucas, and a jump ball, and the possession arrow going to the Broncos. Again, there's Rice right in the thick of it again.
Well, as I said, he is playing with unbelievable energy. Look at this, great hand up on the shot, goes in, goes to the glass, ends up in this double team here and secures that jump ball, which is just like getting a steal because it was Broncos ball in alternating possessions. And see, that was a little thing by Max Rice. No one was open, so he went out and created an uncontested passing lane so Smith wouldn't get caught for a 5-second call. And he must be getting bored. He's just trying to figure out different ways to score it now. Just a half hook, a little scoop. Boy, he's just been entertaining. And look at that great defense again by Max Rice. So he came up with the jump ball, the last end down, comes up. He won't get credit, I don't think, for that steal, but he's the guy that got his hand in there and caused that.
8th turnover for the Wolfpack tonight compared to only 4 for the Broncos in this game.
And a couple guys we just haven't talked much about is Shaver and Albo, the other 2 top scorers on this team. And this has been all Max Rice. Smith is having a pretty good night now. Naj Smith, who had his career or his season high in Nevada at 20 in that 74-72 loss.
Lucas has that shot altered, and they'll say it's Wolfpack basketball with 11-12 to go here in the first half. The star of the show tonight here in Boise, it's Max Rice. He's doing it on both ends, Coach.
He's doing it offensively, and he is all over the court defensively. The Broncos and Max Rice putting on a show here in Mountain West Conference Showdown for first place.
Broncos have built a 15-point lead here in the second half as their offense continues to churn, and on the other side, their defense coming alive. They've held the Wolfpack to only 3 of 11 shooting, and this is what the Broncos expected to do here tonight, Coach. They were first in the league in points allowed, and they have been incredible at defending the 3-point line this season.
Well, they've been the #1 defensive team in the league all year. Now, we're only 6 games into the conference season, but they have been very consistent defensively. But the Wolfpack is right there behind them. The Wolfpack is in #2 in defensive field goal percentage. But this has been anything but a defensive showcase that I thought it would be. Both teams are really shooting it well offensively, and of course Max Rice just having a career night.
Look at the energy from Tyson Degenhart screaming to the fans as the Wolfpack continue to spiral here in this second half.
Degenhart is not only a very good player, he is a great teammate. I watched him in practice today, and boy, just constantly pumping up his teammates, going around, slapping hands, slapping backsides. Just a sophomore, he's going to be around for a couple more outstanding years for the Broncos.
And he's the kind of player you build a program around, and I know they absolutely love him here in Boise, and excited to see more years from the star from Spokane.
And Nevada now in a 2-3. I can't tell if they're trapping out of that or not, but I think a pretty good move by Steve Alford, kind of changing things up, maybe taking the tempo away from Boise State a little bit. I don't know that they were holding that double team, but certainly running two guys at Max Rice, making him have to give the ball up. And again, I think a pretty nice move from the Nevada bench.
Still 10 minutes to go in this one, and Nevada has had some epic runs this year, so that has to give them confidence that they can come back in any game. And right now, they just cannot find any sort of momentum.
In their last game against Utah State, down the stretch, they outscored Utah State 19-0. And you're talking about the best offensive team in the league, and the Aggies from Utah State. And I tell you what, Nevada almost shut them out in the second half. Wow. Wow. Number one, that was a great catch by Degenhart. That ball came up to about knee-high from Shaver. Not a great pass. He'll still get an assist. And then how about that pirouette in the paint for a guy at 6'7", 240 pounds. Man, oh man, was that impressive.
Degenhart has 8 points here in this second half alone. There's the freshman for Nevada, Trey Pettigrew, able to connect.
They are really high on this kid out of Kentwood Academy in Chicago. Nice size, 6'3", 175. They think he is destined to be a star there with the Wolfpack.
He was one of the top high school players coming out of the state of Illinois last year. Bucket plus the foul for Abo.
There's Abo coming to life, a guy that has been red hot in conference play, 58% from the three-point line, averaging over 15 points. But this was a really nice middle game pull-up. At his size, he doesn't need a whole lot of room to get that off, and he's got a real high release point on that shot. He could shoot that in a phone booth, I think, if there's any phone booths left in the world. Maybe some young people wonder what's he talking about, phone booth, but that was really a nice middle game shot by Abo.
Great addition coming in from Texas Tech. He's averaging over 12 a game. Had 15 points in Reno a couple of weeks ago. Coming off of an 18-point game in Wyoming, and he's starting to add to his stat sheet here in the second half.
He had a double-double against Nevada on December 28th, 15 points, 11 rebounds.
Pettigrew trying to slam it home off the backboard, goes back out to Lucas.
Just getting a glimpse of Pettigrew's athleticism.
Let's go back down to Bridget Howard. She has more down on the hardwood.
Yeah, let's talk about Chibuzo Abo. Tyson Degenhart told me yesterday he's just an awesome guy. He didn't have the greatest start to the season, but he's really shooting the ball well right now. He makes shots and just does so much for our team. Max Rice followed that up with, he's just a great locker room guy, going so far as to say that he was the perfect piece that we needed to fill. It's been a really good transition for him, and I think it's always what he's dreamed about, playing here at an environment like Boise State.
All right, thanks, Bridget. I know it's a tough pill to swallow for Nevada to see Abo playing so well. They were a finalist for him coming out of that transfer portal. He had his final three of New Mexico, Boise State, and Nevada, and Abo landing here in Boise. And one interesting thing that's going to be in play here, Coach, that you never had to deal with is NIL. And there are going to be some programs that are going to be able to separate themselves when it comes to that. And I know Boise State has been lauded early for having a lot of things in place when it comes to their NIL.
Well, it's a whole new game in college athletics now with the NIL, the transfer portal. It has dramatically changed the landscape of college athletics. For the fans, it hadn't changed much. They come and cheer their team, but to coach in college right now, it is a very, very challenging situation.
Offensive rebound for the Wolfpack. They find Lucas in the corner.
And once again, the best time to find a three-point shot wide open is off an offensive rebound, because the defense no longer is matched up, and you cannot let Lucas measure one out there. He is a terrific shooter. And that's going to be a flop call against the Southern California score. I'm not sure I like this new rule. I kind of like it where you got a warning first, and then because it's, you know, the referees have enough pressure on them the way it is, and this is a veteran group. Mike Reed is the guy that called that. The other two officials, David Hall and Mike Cyphers, all of them have been around a long time. Here is the, I don't know, I think that might have been a little Oscar award-winning act there, but I haven't had a chance to mention this. David Hall, one of the most outstanding officials in college basketball, also has the honor of giving me my first technical in college coaching way back when.
I knew that was coming up at some point tonight.
He and I laugh about that. I was the interim coach at University of Utah, 89-90 season against BYU. Of course, I was about halfway out to half court, and he came over. He's very nice about it. He wrapped his arm around my shoulder and said, Joe, I'm almost in a whisper. I'm going to have to give you a technical for that. So it was the nicest technical I'd ever gotten, along with the first one.
12 seconds to shoot here for Nevada. Williams trying to feed it into Baker, and it goes off of Degenhart. Stops the clock at 8.
Now, see, that was a great possession of team defense by the Broncos there. Nothing really outstanding or nothing that would shock you. Just each guy staying between his guy and the basket as they tried 3 times to dribble drive there. Just outstanding team defense.
Baker working against Degenhart. Bucket plus the foul for Baker.
And after I bragged about the defense, then they're going to give up a 3-point play. You can't let Baker at his size catch it that low in the paint. At 7 foot, 250. And I know that's hard for Degenhart. I mean, he's giving up pounds and inches. But look at that. He is almost at the level of the rim. And Degenhart, kind of an undersized post in the Mountain West Conference. As talented as he is, it's a tough matchup for him trying to guard Milner at, Baker at 7 foot, 250.
So Will Baker with 12 points to lead the Wolfpack now, down by 12. They've trailed as many as 17 in this basketball game. Rice working against the freshman Pettigrew, and good defense there from Pettigrew as Nevada has possession here. A little bit under 8 minutes to go. We'll see what Nevada can do here down the stretch.
Well, they're not out of the woods yet. 12-point lead with 7:30 left. And Nevada can be very explosive offensively.
Degenhart can't finish, fights for the rebound, and it goes to Lucas.
Nice pass by Rice there.
And the whistle, an offensive foul against Trey Pettigrew. And that'll take us to a media timeout at 7:16. Wolfpack down by 12 here on the road against Boise State. The Broncos trying to even the series and grab control of first place in the Mountain West. Here inside ExtraMile Arena in Boise, the Broncos riding a 4-game winning streak. And they are in control here in the second half against Nevada, a 12-point Boise State advantage. Alongside Coach Joe Cravens, Alex Margulies here on Nevada Sports Net. Wolfpack will have the weekend off after this one, while the Broncos will head to New Mexico, and that'll be an exciting game in Albuquerque. The Lobos coming off a win against San Diego State, so pretty exciting night coming up in the pit, huh?
Well, ironically, both these teams have New Mexico in their next game on Friday. The Broncos go over there, and then I think it is like midweek game when Nevada goes over there. So they both share their next game with New Mexico.
And the Wolfpack in the midst of kind of a gauntlet when it comes to scheduling in the Mountain West. It started playing San Jose State, which was really good at the time. Nevada getting an 11-point win there, or 17 rather. Then they went to San Diego State, lost, came home and beat Utah State. And then this tough stretch of Boise State, New Mexico, UNLV, in what has been a really impressive Mountain West Conference this season. Keenan Blackshear back into the game, takes the charge against Max Rice.
Great steal by Albo down at the other end. Max Rice on the charge. I like his aggressiveness to the basket. That's his second turnover, though, in the last 2 possessions. And the Broncos with only 6 turnovers for the game.
Keenan Blackshear quickly goes down the floor and draws the foul. Blackshear had a couple of buckets to start the second half, but has spent time on the bench. He's 3 of 4 from the field here in the second half, but misses the first free throw. Let's go rebounding tracker by United Nissan. No markups over MSRP at UnitedNissan.com. And Nevada, last time out, they were -10 in this game, Coach, but +2. They've been much more competitive in that rebounding category.
Well, we thought, or at least I thought, that was going to be a big issue for them. And as you said, they have been pretty effective there. The Broncos +6 for the year, rebounding-wise. Shaver, who has been very quiet tonight, but has done a nice job kind of orchestrating this offense. The Broncos have been kind of getting it done at the defensive end this half, holding Nevada to only 35% shooting.
All right, so a timeout on the floor. The Wolfpack are back within 11 after trailing by as many as 17 points. Coach Alford always talks about his team at the 8-minute mark and under. This is where they really turn it on. It may be too little too late for them. However, 6 minutes, still a lot of time in basketball, and I talked about this earlier. This has to be a confident team at the end of games. They've come back. They did it against Kansas State. I know that one went to overtime and they narrowly lost, but a night later in the Cayman Islands, they beat Akron. And then some of these runs that they've been on, I mean, a 25-0 run against San Jose State, a 19-0 run against Utah State. So we'll see what they can do, but first and foremost, they have to figure out a way to slow this guy down. And what a performance from Max Rice, who has scored a career-high 29 points for the Broncos.
Well, he's got 8 in this half, so I kind of looked for him to really slow down. He's not. That last foul he got, boy, he went like a banshee toward the basket there and ended up with an offensive foul and a really nice rebound for Albo there on the offensive glass. This is you talk about staging a comeback, and they very well could because they're a very talented team. But this is an old Boise State team. They have 4 of their top 6 guys who are playing in their 5th year of college basketball, Max Rice being one of them. So it isn't like they may give in to a couple rookie mistakes down the stretch here. This is an old veteran and with a team with very good chemistry are the Broncos.
Inside to Milner, and he's able to go around Baker, gets the bucket, and a chance to make it a 3-point play.
What a great pass by Shaver there. He's 5th in the league in assists. Shaver's coming off a season-high 9 assists in their last game. In fact, he flirted with a triple-double in their last game where he had 10 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and only 1 turnover.
Milner can't finish at the line, but the Broncos back in front by 13 and under 6 to go. And it's just been an off night for Keenan Blackshear. Loses the handles there. He's 4 of 11 from the field, and that is his 5th turnover of the night, as the Wolfpack have turned it over now 13 times.
Well, Albo had an awful lot to do with that turnover. Boy, he was all over Blackshear there, forcing him on the baseline side where you need to, guarding the guy off the dribble. But Albo, who's not had the great scoring night, has been outstanding defensively.
Degenhardt, bucket plus the foul. And Tyson Degenhardt is on fire. Boy, this kid is exciting to watch. The sophomore from Spokane. And when you look at a guy that just brings the energy, this is somebody that the rest of this Boise State team feeds off of.
You know what's amazing, too, Alex? I don't know if you noticed this. You and I got here 2 hours before game time, and the only guy on the court 2 hours before game time was Tyson Degenhardt working on his jump shot. I guess he should have been working on his free throws after he missed that. But he's an outstanding player. We talked about the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. Last game, he only had 8 points, and before that, he had back-to-back double-doubles in conference play, which is not an easy chore.
Degenhardt has scored 10 of his 13 points here in the second half. Baker trying to go around Milner, who's done a good job defending him inside, and to get knocked away by the Broncos to stop the shot clock at 8.
And the Broncos have chosen all night not to come double team Will Baker, which I think is a pretty good decision. They've held him, certainly have not held him without scoring, but they've held him to something that's pretty decent after coming off a 24-point game in their last game. He has double digits, 9, Baker, or 12, I'm talking about Baker.
Keenan Blackshear, a dozen here tonight in Boise. Averaging about 15 a game for the Wolfpack this season. Their offensive board for the Broncos.
The Broncos are kind of settling in now, to taking their time, kind of a little slower rhythm at the offensive end, and that's the worst thing could happen if you're the Wolfpack, is to give up an offensive rebound, let them run more time off the clock.
Well, how about this difference, Joe? The first half, Boise State had 0 offensive rebounds. They've had 5 here in the second half. What a difference maker.
That's big. That's big. And they've turned a couple of them just like that into baskets. That's 5 more possessions when you get an offensive rebound. And Abo again flexing his muscle on the defensive end, and Boise State is hitting on all cylinders on both ends. Right now up big over the Wolfpack, and watch Degenhardt in this wiggle move to the basket. Freshman of the year.
Riding a 4-game winning streak, looking for 5. .342 to go here from ExtraMile Arena in Boise. Leon Rice and the Broncos a 15-point lead on the Wolfpack. And the Broncos really starting to heat up here, Coach. They've won 4 in a row. Well on their way to potentially their 15th win of the season. And let's not forget, these are the reigning champions. They won the regular season and they won the conference tournament last year. And in the Mountain West, that is a really hard thing to do. They're in rare company to be able to get a sweep. And this is a team coming off of that championship season, maybe wasn't respected the way they should have coming into this year, and starting to show that they're one of the top teams yet again here in the Mountain West.
Well, they're only the 3rd team in the 24-year history of the Mountain West Conference to win both the regular season outright and then win the conference tournament. We keep talking about them defensively. They have held the Wolfpack to 35% shooting this second half, after the Wolfpack shot 53% the first half. Another stat that really jumps out at me is 2 things. That's now the Wolfpack's 15th turnover after committing only 7 in their win over Utah State. And this is a team, the Nevada I'm speaking of, who is 6th in the nation in free throws made. They're only 6 of 9 tonight from the free throw line.
And 7 turnovers tonight for Keenan Blackshear. 6 of those have come here in this second half, where Nevada has never gotten into rhythm. And the Broncos pulling away here in front of their home fans, and this is exactly the result they were hoping for. Hoping to get some revenge after Nevada took game 1 of this series in Reno on December 28th.
A 6 offensive rebound now for the Broncos this half. You pointed out a while ago, Alex, they didn't have a single offensive rebound in the first half, now with 6. And the guy let's talk about Max Rice's great offensive night. He has taken Lucas almost completely out of the game offensively. Lucas, the 4th leading scorer in the entire Mountain West Conference with 11 points.
The exclamation point from Abo.
And Nevada just falling asleep at the switch there, and Steve Alford is going to talk to them about that. Regardless of what the score is, you play a certain way, and they did not get matched up that time and allowed Albo just a free run to the basket and then that monster dunk.
And the Broncos starting to victory lap this one here late. Coach, this is a reminder for the Wolfpack just how hard it is to go out on the road and win games in this conference, especially this season.
Well, here's that dunk. Shaver very alertly getting it to Albo. This is the best it's been for a long time, top to bottom in the league. Air Force, a team that, you know, is usually kind of in the lower half, outstanding this year. San Jose State is having a great year under Tim Miles, a resurrection type situation. So you can't take anything for granted, especially going on the road.
And the Wolfpack were hoping in this game to prove that they could go and win a road game in a hostile environment, something they have not been able to do this year. But it does not look like it's going to happen here tonight. Here's Pettigrew, the freshman. Had a three earlier in the half. Davidson, another offensive board for Nevada. Jared Lucas, and Lucas connects from deep.
You know, Albo did a nice job of guarding that first move by Lucas, but he dropped his hand. Lucas with a nice step back move, kind of his go-to move. And once he kind of shook Albo on the dribble drive, then he rhythmed into that shot.
Wolfpack going to a full court press, able to get the ball back here with a 129. Jared Lucas now with 14 points in this one to lead the Wolfpack. Blackshear with 12, Baker with 12. And they'll blow it dead.
What was that all about? We've had two or three. This is an outstanding officiating crew. We've had a couple whistles tonight that everyone kind of stopped and looked around and scratched their head, that being one.
Davidson working against Degenhardt. And a foul on Tyson Degenhardt. And I have a feeling for years to come, we're going to see quite the battle between those two, Nick Davidson of Nevada and Tyson Degenhardt of the Broncos.
Well, no, they're two outstanding young big guys. Degenhardt was in great shape defensively there, and just kind of the cardinal sin of any kind of defense, let alone post defense, is at the very last second he had to reach out and hack Davidson, but his defense up to that time was really good. But you're right, Davidson, a redshirt freshman, just outstanding, and Degenhardt, of course, last year's freshman of the year in the league.
8 points for Davidson, 3 of 4 from the field for the freshman. Nevada makes it a 12-point game, continuing on the full court press, and this time a whistle going against Jared Lucas.
And this is a good exercise for both teams. Nevada getting to work on their press a little bit, down 12, kind of a pretty much an insurmountable lead now with 1:16, and Boise State getting to work on their press offense. Boise State will get a real check to their whole card, so to speak, in just a couple days, going over to Albuquerque and taking on the red-hot Lobos. The Lobos played tonight against San Jose State. I don't have that score, but they are riding the crest of the wave of going into San Diego State's arena and taking care of them over the weekend. So, again, there are no off nights in the Mountain West Conference this year.
And Lobos up by 15 against San Jose State, a 16-2 mark for New Mexico. What a job by Coach Pitino this year.
Last unbeaten team in the nation, and then they lost 2 in a row, and they have certainly got the ship straightened out, so to speak, now. Boy, they have a star-studded lineup that can really score in bunches.
For the Broncos, who beat Nevada in all 3 of their meetings last year, including in the Mountain West Tournament in Las Vegas, getting some redemption here tonight after a Wolfpack win in Reno a couple of weeks ago. And I, for one, would love to see these two teams go head-to-head again down at the Thomas & Mack Center in March. because I think if they did, we'd probably see something a little bit closer to the matchup that happened in Reno a couple of weeks ago.
Well, that's probably right. And if you have never gone to the Mountain West Conference Tournament, it is one of the best conference tournaments in this entire nation. Teams travel so good. New Mexico, of course, is at UNLV. Utah State really travels well. Great crowds, great hospitality. If you're not doing anything and you want to be entertained, that Mountain West Conference Tournament is an exciting 3 or 4 days.
I know both programs have ticket packages available, so whether you're watching in Reno, NevadaSportsNet.com also can get some ticket packages through the Broncos. But you're right. I mean, it's such an experience. You go down there, you stay for 4 or 5 days, some really good basketball there. If you even want to pop over, check out some of the other conference tournaments. But this Mountain West this year is as good as it's been since the history that this league started.
Well, I think we're going to get 4 teams in the NCAA. The most they've ever gotten years ago, they got 5 in, 4 last year. But just take a look at that net rating for the league. For the league overall, it's number 4 right now in the entire nation, ahead of some really high-profile leagues. The Broncos are just going to play it out right now.
Yeah, as we said earlier, 5 teams in the top 40. But number 1 of those net rankings in the conference are these Boise State Broncos. And an emphatic home win here at ExtraMile Arena as they win their 5th consecutive game.
And that shot clock violation, which obviously they did on purpose, only the 7th turnover. That's back-to-back games where they had 7 turnovers, and the Boise State Broncos set alone at the top of the Mountain West Conference rankings.
So a very impressive win for Boise State as they go to 15-4 on the season. They improved to 5-1 in the Mountain West and now match Nevada as one of the teams at the top of the Mountain West standings. For the Wolfpack, they dropped to 15-5, 5-2 in the Mountain West Conference. And as I mentioned earlier, Nevada will have the weekend off, so getting a well-timed break, and they will return next week to host New Mexico. So another challenging opponent next week coming to Lawlor Event Center, 6 p.m. tip-off January 23rd. And on the other side of things for Boise State, they're going to head to the pits this weekend. It'll be New Mexico and the Boise State Broncos. Back to our 3rd member of our team, Bridget Howard, is with Max Rice.
Thanks, Alex. Max, last meeting with Nevada, you had 2 points. Tonight, you come out and drop a career high, 29 points, make 6 threes. Why were you so locked in tonight?
Yeah, I knew I had to come out and play good tonight to beat them because, I mean, their numbers are really good. They're a really good team. I'm going to get mad at Shaver in the locker room because I really want to get 30 for my first time, but it's all good. It's a great win for us. We're going to keep going, and I just love this team. We got a lot of good players. So.
To no surprise, the defense showed up again tonight. You guys forced 15 turnovers from the Wolfpack, which led to 16 points. Why was this defense just on it again tonight?
Yeah, I think we do a great job peeling. Like when the dude drives, we switch and get out to shooters. And credit to Coach Burns. He's one of the best defensive coaches in the country. He's really annoying to listen to every week, but he gets the job done, so good for him.
5th straight win for the Broncos. How much fun are you having with these guys right now?
Yeah, this is a dream come true. I grew up with Najee my whole life, dreaming about doing stuff like this with him. So we're just enjoying the moment, having fun, and playing basketball, and we're doing good. So.
Last one for you. What'd you think about that Buzo dunk?
Oh, they forgot about him. There was no one on him. Buzo's a great player too, though, and we love playing Nevada, so it was a great game.
Thank you so much, Max. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Bridget. What a night for Max Rice. 29, a career high, 21 coming in the first half alone. What a night for the kid that went to high school here in Boise.
Well, they hold Nevada to 33% field goal percentage in that second half. A very well played game. Whole lot of basketball yet to be played in the Mountain West Conference.
All right, so these two even up their season series. That will do it for us here tonight in Boise. For Bridget Howard and Joe Cravens, I'm Alex Margulies saying so long. Thanks so much for watching on Nevada Sports Net. Good night.